The silver ship hung in space like a jewel against the black sky. It was beautiful and strange, nothing like the metal boxes humans built. Smooth curves replaced sharp edges. Soft lights danced across its surface instead of harsh spotlights. The ship was 3 times bigger than Earth's largest space station. Inside the ship, Ambassador Veltar studied the blue planet below. His 4 eyes blinked slowly as he read the final reports. For 20 years, his people had watched Earth. They listened to human radio signals. They studied human television shows. They recorded human music and art. "Sir," his aide whispered, "the humans are responding to our message." Veltar nodded. His tall, thin body moved with grace as he walked to the communication center. The Altarians were proud of their peaceful ways. They had brought 43 different species into the Galactic Federation. Each time they did it, without violence, they believed in patience and understanding. "What do the humans say?" Veltar asked. "They welcome us. They want to meet on their space station. They say they will prepare a ceremony for us." Veltar smiled with his small mouth. Humans seemed perfect for the Federation. All their broadcasts showed art, music, and philosophy. They made movies about love and friendship. They wrote books about peace and hope. Even their wars seemed small and far away in their history. "These humans will fit well with us," Veltar told his crew. "They are gentle creatures. Very civilized." 3 days later, Veltar's ship docked with Earth's newest space station. The humans called it Unity Station. The name made Veltar happy, showed that humans thought about bringing people together. The airlock opened with a soft sound. Veltar stepped through, followed by his team of scientists and diplomats. The first thing he noticed was the smell. It was clean and fresh, like flowers after rain. Most alien species made their ships smell like chemicals or fuel. Humans made theirs smell like home. "Welcome," said a calm voice. Veltar looked up and saw his first living human. The man was shorter than an Altarian, but broader. His skin was pale brown, and his hair was black and neat. He wore simple clothes, a dark jacket and pants, nothing fancy or military looking. "I am Lee Teho," the human said, bowing slightly. "I speak for Earth in all matters between worlds." Veltar had studied human body language. The bow meant respect, meant Lee Teho saw Veltar as an equal, not an enemy. This was very different from other species. Most aliens tried to look bigger and stronger during first meetings. "I am Veltar of the Altarian Collective," he replied, copying the human bow. "We are honored to meet you." Lee Teho smiled. "Please, come with me. We've prepared something special for you." They walked through the station's halls. Veltar was surprised by what he saw. The walls showed pictures of Earth, mountains, oceans, forests, and cities. But they also showed pictures of other worlds, empty worlds that humans might visit someday. It was clear that humans dreamed of the stars, but they did not dream of conquest. "Your station is beautiful," Veltar said. "Thank you," Lee Teho replied. "We built it to welcome visitors from other worlds. We hoped this day would come." Entered a large room with a round table. 2 other humans waited there. One was a woman with kind eyes and gray hair. The other was a younger woman who stood very straight but smiled warmly. "This is Park Ji-woo," Lee Teho said, pointing to the older woman. "She studies life from other worlds. And this is Kim Sora. She keeps our station safe." Park Ji-woo bowed, like Lee Teho had done. "We are excited to learn about your people," she said. Kim Sora also bowed, but Veltar noticed something different about her. She moved like a dancer, smooth and controlled. Her eyes looked at everything, always watching. But her smile seemed real and warm. "Please sit," Lee Teho said. "We would like to share our customs with you." On the table sat a simple tea set. The cups were small and plain. Steam rose from a ceramic pot. Next to it lay small plates of food, nothing fancy, just simple cakes and fruits. "In our culture," Lee Teho explained, "we welcome important guests with tea. It shows respect and friendship." He poured the tea with slow, careful movements. Each motion seemed planned and peaceful. Veltar watched, fascinated. The humans' hands never shook. His breathing never changed. Everything was calm and controlled. This is called a tea ceremony, Park Ji-woo added. It is very old. It teaches us patience and peace. Veltar accepted the cup with his long fingers. The tea was warm and tasted like flowers and earth. It was nothing like the bitter drinks his people made. It is wonderful, he said, and meant it. For the next hour, they talked about simple things. Lee Tae-ho asked about Altarian art. Park Ji-woo wanted to know about other worlds in the Federation. Kim Sora listened mostly, but when she spoke, her words were thoughtful and smart. Veltar was impressed. His humans asked good questions. They listened to the answers, never interrupted or argued. They seemed truly interested in learning, not in showing how much they already knew. "We have a question for you, Lee," Tae-ho said finally. "We know about the Galactic Federation. We have heard your messages for many years. We would like to join, if you will have us." Veltar set down his teacup. Oh, this was the moment he had prepared for. The Federation always welcomes peaceful species, but we must be sure you are ready. "What do you need to know?" Park Ji-woo asked. "How do you solve problems between your people? What do you do when someone breaks your laws? How do you handle anger and violence?" The three humans looked at each other. Kim Sora spoke first. "We believe in justice, but also in mercy," she said. "When someone does wrong, we try to understand why. We help them change, not just punish them. Our people sometimes disagree," Lee Tae-ho added. "But we have learned to talk instead of fight. We have courts and laws. We solve problems with words, not weapons." Park Ji-woo nodded. "We learned from our mistakes. Long ago, humans fought many wars. We decided that path led nowhere good. Now we choose peace." Veltar believed them. Everything he saw supported their words. The humans spoke softly. They moved calmly. They seemed to think before they acted. Even Kim Sora, who was clearly some kind of guard, seemed more like a protective parent than a soldier. "I think," Veltar said slowly, "that humans will do very well in the Federation." The three humans smiled. "There is one more thing," Veltar said. "The Federation has rules. All member species must promise to protect each other. If one world is in danger, all worlds help." Of course, Lee Tae-ho said immediately, "We would be honored to help protect others, even if it means risking your own people." The question hung in the air for a moment. Then Kim Sora leaned forward slightly. "Ambassador Veltar," she said, her voice still gentle but somehow stronger. "Humans believe that protecting others is not a risk. It is a duty. We will do whatever is necessary to keep innocent people safe." Something in her tone made Veltar pause. For just a second, he thought he heard something deeper in her words, something that made him think of old stories about sleeping dragons. But then Kim Sora smiled again, and the moment passed. "Wonderful," Veltar said. "They'll recommend to the Federation Council that humanity be accepted immediately."
Ow.
They finished their tea ceremony in happy silence. Outside the windows, Earth turned slowly in the darkness, blue and white and beautiful. Veltar thought it was the most peaceful world he had ever seen. He had no idea how wrong he was. 6 months had passed since first contact. The Galactic Federation welcomed humanity with open arms. Veltar's report called humans the most naturally peaceful species we have encountered. The Federation Council agreed without debate. Humans, spread across 3 Federation worlds like seeds in fertile ground. They built small, neat colonies. They followed every rule. They never complained about the worlds they were given, mostly farming planets far from dangerous borders. On Kepler 4-4b, Governor Cho Min-ho walked through New Sol Colony as the morning sun painted the sky orange. The settlement looked like a small Earth town transplanted among alien trees. Houses had gardens. Children played in safe streets. Old people sat on porches, drinking tea and watching the world wake up. "Governor," called Mrs. Han, an elderly woman tending her vegetable garden. "The Zentari delegation arrives today, yes?" "Yes, Mrs. Han," Cho Min-ho replied, stopping to admire her tomatoes. "They want to see how humans farm. They think we might teach them new methods." Mrs. Han smiled. Those poor Zentari, their plants, always die. No patience, those ones, always rushing. Cho Minho nodded and continued his walk. He loved these morning rounds. They reminded him why he left his old job to become a colonial governor. Your life was simple and good. No stress, no pressure, no impossible decisions. The Zentari were tall, blue-skinned beings who looked like walking trees. They had joined the Federation 50 years ago, but still struggled with agriculture. Their ships landed at the small spaceport, just as Cho Minho arrived. "Governor Cho," said Ambassador Teclin, bowing in the human style. All Federation species had learned to bow to humans. They thought it was cute. "We are eager to learn from your people." "Welcome to New Seoul," Cho Minho replied. "Our farmers are excited to share what they know." They spent the day touring the colony. The Zentari were amazed by human patience. Human farmers checked their crops 3 times a day but never rushed the growing process. They talked to their plants like old friends. They seemed to understand that good things took time. "How do you stay so calm?" Teclin asked, as they watched a human farmer carefully transplant seedlings. "On our world, we would have planted these weeks ago. My grandfather taught me," the farmer replied. Said, "The plant knows when it is ready. Our job is to listen." Teclin made notes on his electronic pad. Remarkable. Such wisdom, such peace. That evening, Cho Minho hosted a dinner for the Zentari delegation. The colony's best cooks prepared traditional Korean dishes alongside local vegetables. The Zentari loved the food, especially the fermented vegetables. "This kimchi," Teclin said, "it is alive, yes? The bacteria works slowly to create flavor." "That's right," Cho Minho nodded. "Good kimchi cannot be rushed. Some recipes take months to perfect." "Months," Teclin laughed. "You humans understand time better than any species I know. You're so patient. So wise." After dinner, Cho Minho walked the Zentari to their ship. As they shook hands goodbye, Teclin leaned close. "Governor, may I ask you something personal?" "Of course. What did you do before becoming governor? Did you move like ... like someone who has seen different worlds?" Cho Minho smiled gently. "I was a teacher. I taught young people about history and strategy. It was not exactly a lie. He had taught, just not in a classroom." "Ah," Teclin nodded. "That explains your wisdom. Teachers make the best leaders." After the Zentari left, Cho Minho returned to his office. He sat at his desk and opened a secure communication channel. His face appeared on screens in human colonies across 3 worlds. "Monthly report," he said calmly. "All colonies functioning normally. No security concerns. All emergency protocols remain current and ready." Similar reports came from the other colonies. Governor Yoon Ha-jin, on Proxima 7, had just negotiated another excellent trade deal with the local species. The aliens always gave humans good prices, thinking they were helping poor, simple farmers. "The Signan traders agreed to our terms," Yoon reported. "They think we don't understand the real value of our goods. They believe they are being generous." Cho Minho smiled. Yoon had been a trade negotiator before the colonies. She understood numbers and psychology better than most computers. "Cultural," Ambassador Kang Da-yoon reported from the capital world. "The Federation Council loves our art exhibitions. They say human creativity proves we are pure souls. They want to display our work in the Great Museum." Kang Da-yoon had been a military intelligence officer. She understood how to read people and situations. Her art shows were beautiful, but they also let her study every important alien leader in the Federation. "Any concerns?" Cho Minho asked. "Usual," Kang Do-yoon replied. "They treat us like children, sweet, innocent children who need protection. Some council members want to limit where humans can travel. They say dangerous areas are not suitable for such a gentle species." Cho Minho nodded. This was expected. Every member of the Federation Council had the same opinion. Humans were too peaceful, trusting, too naive for the harsh realities of galactic politics. "They moved 3 human families off the border worlds last week," reported Captain O'Subin from the transport vessel Harmony. "Said it was for our own safety." "The Drakmar Empire has been making noise." "The Drakmar are raiders," added Governor. "Yoon, slavers, and pirates. The Federation wants to keep us away from them. Understandable, Cho Min-ho said. Continue normal operations. Keep monitoring all channels. The reports continued. Every human colony was thriving. Every human diplomat was building strong relationships. Every human trader was getting excellent deals. The Federation species loved humanity's gentle nature, their respect for life, their commitment to peace. What they didn't know was that every human colony had detailed files on local defensive positions. Every human diplomat understood the political weaknesses of their alien friends. Every human trader knew exactly which resources would be critical in a crisis.
Oh.
One more thing, Cho Min-ho said as the meeting ended. Make sure all family emergency drills are up to date, children especially. Course, Governor, came the unanimous reply. After the call ended, Cho Min-ho stood and walked to his window. Outside, New Seoul Colony slept peacefully under alien stars. Families were safe in their homes. Children dreamed of tomorrow's adventures. He opened his desk drawer and looked at the photograph inside. It showed a much younger version of himself. In military uniform, standing with his unit after a successful mission. The photo was 15 years old, from back when he had a different job and a different name. Colonel Min-ho had been very good at his job. He understood strategy, logistics, and the psychology of warfare. When the opportunity came to govern a peaceful colony, he had jumped at the chance. No more impossible missions. No more life or death decisions. Just farming and families and quiet days, but old habits died hard. Every morning when he walked through the colony, he counted defensive positions. Every time he met with aliens, he analyzed their strengths and weaknesses. Every night before sleep, he reviewed emergency protocols. The Federation Council thought humans were harmless. They gave humanity the safest worlds, the easiest jobs, the most protection. They treated humans like beloved pets who needed constant care. Cho Min-ho closed the drawer and turned off his office light. Tomorrow would bring another peaceful day in paradise. More farming, more diplomacy, more proof that humans were gentle. Souls who loved nothing more than quiet lives. The Federation was happy to believe it. And humans were happy to let them. For now, outside his window, the colony's communication array turned slowly, monitoring dozens of frequencies. It looked like a simple weather station. Most aliens wouldn't look twice at it, but if they knew what to look for, they might notice that it was pointed not at the weather satellites, but at the border regions where the Drakmar Empire was stirring up trouble, just in case. Harmony Station floated in the space between 3 star systems. It was the Federation's newest research station, built to study rare space minerals. 3,000 beings from 12 different species lived and worked there together. The station looked like a giant wheel spinning slowly against the stars in the education section. Therim knelt beside 6-year-old Min-ji, helping her with a drawing. The little girl was trying to draw her family back on Earth, her mother, father, and baby brother. Teacher Nam, Min-ji said, holding up her crayon. What color is Daddy's hair again? Black like yours, Therim smiled, but maybe add some. Gray daddies get gray hair when they worry about their little girls. 47 human children lived on Harmony Station.
Yes.
Their parents worked as researchers, engineers, and support staff. The Federation thought it was wonderful that humans brought their families everywhere. It proved how gentle and trusting they were. The classroom was bright and cheerful. Earth animals decorated the walls, elephants, dolphins, and butterflies. The children's artwork hung everywhere, showing pictures of their homes, their pets, and their dreams of exploring the galaxy. Teacher called 8-year-old Dongwoo from across the room. Is it true that some aliens have 4 arms? Yes. Therim replied. The Corvani have 4 arms. It helps them build things faster. I wish I had 4 arms, Dongwoo said. I could hug everyone at once. The other children giggled. Therim felt her heart warm. These children saw the galaxy as a place of wonder and friendship. They didn't know about wars or pirates or the dangers that lurked between the stars. In the security office, 3 levels down, Song Woo-jin watched the morning reports on his screens. Everything looked normal. Supply ships came and went on schedule. Research teams sent back regular updates. Station's defense grid showed nothing unusual. Song Woo-jin was officially the station's security chief. The other species thought this meant he watched for accidents and helped lost visitors find their way. They didn't know he had been studying every inch of Harmony Station since the day he arrived. Sir called Bae Hyensu from the communications desk. Strange reading on the long-range sensors. What kind of strange? Song Woo-jin asked, walking over. Multiple ships approaching from the outer rim, moving fast. They're not responding to our standard greeting signals. Song Woo-jin frowned. Ships from the outer rim usually meant traders or explorers, but traders answered when you called them. Explorers filed flight plans. How many ships? At least 12. Maybe more? They're staying in formation. Song Woo-jin's blood went cold. Formation flying meant military. And the only military force in that direction was the Drakmar Empire. The Drakmar were everything humans pretended not to be. They were raiders and slavers who swept through space like a plague. They took prisoners, especially the young ones. Children brought high prices in their slave markets. Send a priority message to Federation Command, Song Woo-jin ordered. Tell them we have unidentified ships approaching. Request immediate assistance. Already done, sir. Federation fleet is 18 hours away. 18 hours. Song Woo-jin closed his eyes for a moment. If those were Drakmar ships, 18 hours might as well be 18 years. Sir Bae Hyensu's voice was tight with worry. The ships just dropped out of hyperspace. They single quotes. Read dot. Really big, sir. Really big. On the main screen, Song Woo-jin saw 12 massive warships painted in the dark red and black colors of the Drakmar Empire. Each ship was twice the size of Harmony Station. Gun ports covered their hulls like angry eyes. All stations, this is Song Woo-jin, he said into his communicator. We have hostile ships approaching. This is not a drill. Begin evacuation procedures immediately. Throughout the station, alarms began to sound. But they were soft alarms, designed not to cause panic. The Federation believed in keeping everyone calm during emergencies. The Drakmar had different ideas about emergencies. The first attack came without warning. Energy beams sliced through space and hit Harmony Station's outer hull. The station shook like a tree in a storm. Lights flickered. People screamed. In the education section, Nathiram felt the station rock beneath her feet. The children looked up from their drawings with wide, frightened eyes. Teacher, whispered Minji. What was that? Before the Rim could answer, the station shook again. This time the lights went out completely. Emergency lighting kicked in, bathing everything in red. Children, the Rim said, keeping her voice calm and steady. We're going to play a new game. It's called Safe Place. Everyone needs to move to the center of the room and sit down quietly. The children obeyed immediately. They trusted their teacher completely. They followed her. They followed her instructions without question. Song Woo-jin's voice crackled over the station's speakers. All personnel, we are under attack. Repeat, we are under attack. Move to designated safe areas immediately. This is not a drill. Through the classroom's small window, Nathiram could see the Drakmar ships getting closer. Smaller ships were separating from the main fleet boarding. Craft filled with enemy soldiers. Teacher, Dongwoo asked, are the bad aliens coming? Nathiram knelt down and gathered the children around her. Listen to me very carefully, she said. Some people who are not very nice are coming to our station. But remember what we learned about Earth animals. Sometimes when baby animals are in danger, the grown-up animals become very protective, like mama bears, asked Minji. Exactly. Like mama bears. And there are a lot of mama and papa bears on this station who will keep us safe. The first Drakmar boarding craft attached to the station with a loud clang. Then another. Then another. Soon, the sounds of cutting tools echoed through the hull as the raiders began breaking in. Nathiram activated the classroom's lockdown system. Metal barriers slid down over the windows and doors. The room became a fortress, but everyone knew it was only temporary protection. Teacher Na came Song Wujin's voice over the intercom. Status report. All children accounted for, she replied calmly. We're secured in classroom 7. Good. Stay put. Help is coming. What kind of help could possibly arrive in time? Na, Thurim wondered. But she didn't let her worry show on her face. The children sat quietly, holding hands in a circle. They were scared, but trying to be brave. Thurim felt a fierce protectiveness rise in her chest. These were her students, her babies. She would die before letting anyone hurt them. The sounds of fighting began to echo through the station. Energy weapons fired. Metal rang against metal. Voices shouted in languages she didn't recognize. Then came the sound that froze her blood. Heavy footsteps in the corridor outside. Lots of them, getting closer. The Drachmer had found the education section. Children, Natharim whispered. Remember? What we practiced about being very, very quiet. They nodded, pressing closer together. The footsteps stopped right outside their door. Something heavy slammed against the metal barrier. Again. Teacher Minji whispered, tears in her eyes. I'm scared. The words carried clearly through the intercom system. Every human on Harmony Station heard that little girl's frightened voice in the security office. Song Wujin heard those 3 words and felt something ancient wake up inside him. Something that had been sleeping for months, buried under the peaceful routine of station life. He opened a secure channel that connected to every human on the station. When he spoke, his voice was completely calm, but somehow different. Colder, harder. All personnel, he said quietly. Execute. Protocol 7. Throughout the station, 89 humans heard those words. Researchers put down their equipment. Engineers stopped what they were building. Cooks stepped away from their kitchens. They had been waiting for this moment. The sleeping dragons had finally awakened. Protocol 7 was not written in any Federation manual. It was not taught in their schools or discussed in their meetings. But it was something older, deeper, and far more dangerous than any alien had ever imagined. In the maintenance section, Lim Jae-sung put down his toolkit. For 6 months, he had fixed broken pipes and cleaned air filters. The other species thought he was just a simple worker who kept the station running. They didn't know he had been mapping. Every weakness in Harmony Station's design, Jae-sung opened a hidden panel in the wall and pulled out a small device. It looked like a normal repair scanner, but when he activated it, the station's blueprint appeared on the screen. Red dots marked every Drachmer soldier who had boarded the station. Blue dots showed every human. 89 of us, he whispered into his communicator. 300 of them. Children are in classroom 7. Let's bring them home. In the library, Osubin was no longer the quiet woman who helped researchers find books. She sat at her computer terminal, her fingers flying across the keyboard. The peaceful librarian was gone. In her place sat someone who understood systems, networks, and information warfare. I have control of their communications, she reported. The Drachmer can't talk to their ships anymore. I'm also uploading a virus to their weapon systems. Ow! Long until they notice, asked Song Wujin's voice over the comm. They won't, Subin replied with a cold smile. The virus makes their guns think they're working perfectly. They just won't fire when they pull the trigger. Ah! In the kitchen, Quan Rian had been the friendliest cook on the station. She made wonderful meals for aliens from 12 different species. She knew exactly what each race could eat, what would make them sick, and what would kill them. Now she was carefully mixing chemicals from her cleaning supplies. Drachmer breathe oxygen mixed with methane, she said calmly into her cum, releasing pure oxygen into sections 7 through 12. It won't hurt us, but it will make them very sleepy. How sleepy? Asked Jae-sung. Dead sleepy, Rian replied. The Drachmer soldiers moved through the station like a pack of wolves. They were 7 feet tall, with gray skin and 4 arms. Each. One carried weapons that could cut through steel. They had raided hundreds of stations just like this one. They expected the usual response: panic, running, hiding. Maybe a few security guards with light weapons. Nothing they couldn't handle. They were not expecting to walk into a carefully planned nightmare. The first group of Drachmer entered the maintenance section. The lights went out. Emergency lighting should have kicked in immediately. It didn't. "What's wrong with the lights?" growled their leader. Before anyone could answer, the air vents began hissing. Sweet-smelling gas poured into the corridor. The Drachmer tried to put on breathing masks, but their hands were moving too slowly. Their eyes were getting heavy. "Trap," one of them managed to say before falling unconscious. Jae-sung emerged from the darkness like a ghost. He moved from soldier to soldier, checking their weapons and equipment. These tools would be useful. "Section 4 clear," he reported. 12 hostiles down, no casualties. In the research labs, another group of Drachmer was hunting for valuable scientists to capture. They kicked down doors, expecting to find terrified researchers hiding under desks. Instead, they found empty rooms filled with strange, sweet-smelling smoke. "The air tastes wrong," one soldier complained. "All air on alien stations tastes wrong," his partner replied. "Keep moving." They didn't notice that the smoke was getting thicker. They didn't realize that their movements were getting slower. The time they understood something was wrong, it was too late. Rianne stepped out of a side passage. In her hands, she carried a simple kitchen knife, but her eyes held the cold focus of someone who had done this before. "Research section clear," she reported 5 minutes later. 15 hostiles down. Equipment secured. The Drachmer commander was getting angry. 3 groups had stopped reporting. The humans were supposed to be helpless farmers and researchers. Where was the panic? Where was the fear? "All units converge on the education section," he ordered. "Forget the adults. Get the children. That will make them surrender." It was the worst decision he could have made. Song Woo-jin heard the order. Through the hacked communication system, his face went completely calm, but his eyes became as cold as deep space. "They're going after the children," he announced on the human frequency. The response was immediate. Every human on the station stopped what they were doing. Maintenance workers dropped their tools. Cooks left their kitchens. Researchers abandoned their experiments. The hunt was on. The Drachmar. Moving toward the education section, found the corridors strangely empty. No panicking aliens running for escape pods. No security guards trying to stop them. Just silence. They didn't notice the small devices placed along the walls. They looked like normal sensor equipment. But when the Drachmer passed by, the devices activated. The artificial gravity in the corridor suddenly flipped. Up became down. The Drachma soldiers slammed into what had been the ceiling, their heavy armor making them helpless. Before they could recover, the gravity flipped again. And again. Jae-sung and 3 other humans appeared at both ends of the corridor. Like dancers, perfectly balanced even as gravity changed around them. In their hands, they carried weapons taken from fallen Drachmer soldiers. "You shouldn't have come here," Jae-sung said quietly. The fight that followed was not really a fight. It was a demonstration of the difference between warriors and soldiers. Soldiers followed orders and used standard tactics. Warriors adapted, improvised, and did whatever was necessary to win. The Drachmer never had a chance. Near Classroom 7, the final group of raiders was trying to break through the metal barrier protecting the children. Their cutting tools sparked against the reinforced door. Netherem held the children close, whispering calm words even though her heart was pounding. Through the intercom, she could hear the sounds of fighting getting closer. "Teacher," whispered Minji, "are the mama bears coming?" "Yes, sweetheart." "Nah," Therim replied. "The mama bears are coming." The cutting stopped. For a moment, there was complete silence. Then the lights went out in the corridor outside. The Drachmer soldiers activated their helmet lights, creating bright beams in the darkness. "Something's wrong," one of them muttered. "Just keep cutting," their leader ordered. That's when they heard it, a sound like metal ringing against metal, slow, steady, like a bell tolling. The sound was getting closer. "Is that?" asked a soldier. The sound stopped. The corridor became perfectly quiet. Then Song Woo-jin stepped into the light. He looked exactly like the same calm, peaceful security chief who had welcomed visitors and helped lost tourists. But something was different. We moved differently. He held himself differently in his hands. He carried a simple metal pipe, a piece of broken railing from the damaged sections. "You need to leave," he said quietly. Now the Drachmer leader laughed. 1 human against 6 of us. You're either very brave or very stupid. Song Woo-jin's expression didn't change. I'm a father. The fight lasted exactly 37 seconds. When it was over, Song Woo-jin knelt outside classroom 7 and spoke into the intercom. Natharim, it's safe now. You can open the door. The metal barrier slid up. Natharim looked out at Song Woo-jin, then at the corridor beyond him. 6 Drachmer soldiers lay unconscious, their weapons scattered and broken. Are they? She began. They're alive, Song Woo-jin replied. We'll need them for questioning. Children peeked out from behind their teacher. Little Minji ran to Song Woo-jin and hugged his leg. You're the best mama bear ever, she said. Song Woo-jin smiled and patted her head gently. Let's get you all somewhere safe. As they walked toward the secure sections, Natharim noticed something that made her pause. Song Woo-jin was still the same gentle man who had protected her students. But now she could see what had always been hidden underneath. He wasn't just a security chief. He was something much more dangerous, and so was every other human on Harmony. Station. Throughout the station, the cleanup continued. 89 humans had faced 300 Drachma raiders. The final count was simple. 0 human casualties. Now 300 Drachma prisoners. The Federation monitoring stations listened to the aftermath reports in stunned silence. The gentle, peaceful humans had just accomplished something that would have challenged their best military units, and they had done it to protect their children. The galaxy was about to learn a very important lesson about humanity. The most dangerous predator is not the one that hunts for sport. It's the one that kills, to protect its young. The Federation rescue fleet arrived 18 hours later, expecting to find a destroyed station and hundreds of casualties. Admiral Veltar's ship, the same one that had made first contact with Earth, led the formation. Harmony Station. This is Admiral Veltar, he called over the communication system. We are here to assist. What is your status? Song Woo-jin's calm voice answered immediately. Admiral, this is Harmony Station. Station is secure. All civilians are safe. We have 300 prisoners ready for transfer. Veltar's 4 eyes blinked in confusion. Prisoners? Did you say prisoners? That's correct, Admiral. The Drachma raiding force has been neutralized and captured. No casualties among station personnel. The silence on the Federation ships lasted for a full minute. Finally, Veltar found his voice. Song Woo-jin, are you saying that? That your people defeated the entire Drachma attack force? That's correct. Sir, another long silence. Then, we're coming aboard. An hour later, Veltar walked through Harmony Station with General Han Dong-wook, who had arrived with the human reinforcement fleet. The general was a quiet man with gray hair and steady eyes. He moved like Song Woo-jin did, calm on the surface, but with something powerful underneath. I don't understand, Veltar said as they toured the station. Reports said 300 Drachma soldiers. How did 89 civilians defeat professional raiders? General Han smiled gently. Admiral, I think there's been a small misunderstanding about what you call civilians. They stopped at the maintenance section. Lim Jae-sung was back to fixing pipes, humming quietly as he worked. He looked up and bowed politely when he saw them. Mr. Lim, General Han said, would you mind telling the Admiral about your background? Jae-soon wiped his hands on a cloth. Of course, General. Before I came to the station, I worked in engineering. What kind of engineering? Veltar asked. Military engineering, sir? I designed defensive systems and studied enemy tactics. I served for 15 years before I retired to become a maintenance worker. Veltar stared. You were a soldier. We preferred the term protector. Jae-soon replied with a modest smile. They moved to the library. Subin was helping a young Zentari researcher find information about crystal formations. She looked up and smiled when they approached. Miss O, General Han said, could you share your previous work experience? Certainly, I was an intelligence analyst for 12 years. I specialized in communication systems and information warfare. Now I help people find books. She turned back to the Zentari researcher. The crystals you're looking for are described in Section 7 of the Geology database. Veltar felt a cold feeling growing in his stomach. General Han, are you telling me that all your civilians are former military? Not all, Han replied. Some were teachers, doctors, and engineers, but most of them spent time serving their planet before they came to the colonies. They walked to the kitchen, where Quan Rian was preparing lunch for the station's children. The smell of fresh bread filled the air. She looked like a grandmother who lived to feed people. Mrs. Quan, General Han said, tell the Admiral about your specialty. Rian smiled warmly. I was a chemical specialist, Admiral. I studied how different substances affect different species. It's very useful for making sure everyone gets proper nutrition. She paused, then added, also useful for making sure bad people take very long naps. Veltar sat down heavily in a nearby chair. This is impossible. You all seem so... so peaceful, so gentle. We are peaceful, General Han said, sitting across. From him, we prefer peace above all things. But Admiral, peaceful and helpless are not the same thing. Dr. Shin Myung arrived an hour later with the main human diplomatic team. She was a small woman with kind eyes and a soft voice. She introduced herself as a xenopsychologist, someone who studied how different species think.
Admiral Veltar,
She said, sitting down with tea, I understand you're confused about what happened here. That's putting it mildly, Veltar replied. For 6 months, we've watched your people, your farmers and artists. You make tea ceremonies and talk about peace. How did you defeat the Drakmar so easily? Dr. Shin sipped her tea thoughtfully. Tell me, Admiral, what do you know about Earth? Predators? What does that have to do with anything? Please, humor me. What do you know about Earth's dangerous animals? Veltar thought for a moment. They're aggressive. They attack without warning. They show their weapons, claws, teeth, fangs. Those are good guesses, but not quite right. The most dangerous predators on Earth are actually very calm most of the time. Take the polar bear, for example. Normally it's peaceful. It plays with its cubs, swims in the water, seems almost friendly. But if you threaten its children... She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. Humans evolved from predators, Admiral. We spent millions of years learning to hunt, to fight, to protect our families. But we also learned something else when to stop. I don't understand. A wolf kills when it's hungry. A shark kills when it smells blood. Humans, we kill when we choose to. That's what makes us different. That's what makes us civilized. Veltar felt a shiver run through his body. You're saying that all this time, humans have been hiding their true nature. Not hiding, Dr. Shin corrected gently. Controlling. There's a difference. A hidden knife is a weapon. A controlled knife is a tool. General Han leaned forward. Admiral, what did you think would happen when someone threatened our children? The question hung in the air like a THUNDERCLOUD. The Emergency Federation Council meeting was called for the next day. Representatives from all 12 member species gathered in the Great Chamber on the capital world. The air buzzed with nervous energy. Li Taeho entered the chamber exactly as he had 6 months ago. Calm, polite, respectful. He bowed to the council members and took his seat at the small table reserved for humanity. Chancellor Veltar's cousin and leader of the council, spoke first. Delegate Li, we need to discuss recent events at Harmony Station. Of course, Chancellor. How can I help? Our reports indicate that human personnel defeated a large Drakmar raiding force with no casualties. This seems... unlikely. Li Taeho nodded. The reports are accurate, Chancellor. How is this possible? Our intelligence said humans were a peaceful species. We are peaceful, Chancellor. We prefer peace above all things. But you just wiped out 300 trained warriors. Li Taeho's expression didn't change. Chancellor, those warriors threatened our children. Surely you understand that parents will do anything to protect their young. The council chamber fell silent. Every species represented had children. Every species understood the protective instinct. What we want to know, said the Corvani representative, is why you didn't tell us about your ... capabilities. You didn't ask. Li Taeho replied simply. You saw what you wanted to see. We never lied about who we are. Chancellor Veltar consulted his notes. Our xenologists studied your broadcasts for decades. They showed art, music, philosophy, not military strength. That's correct. We broadcast the things we value most: beauty, creativity, knowledge, peace. We don't value war, so we don't celebrate it. But you're clearly good at it, the Zentari delegate said nervously. Lee Taeho smiled sadly. Being good at something and enjoying it are different things. Humans are very good at war. That's exactly why we choose peace. The questions continued. For hours. Finally, Chancellor Velter asked the question everyone was thinking. Delegate Lee, what does humanity want from the Federation now? Military command? Territory? Resources? Lee Taeho looked genuinely surprised. Want? Chancellor, we want exactly what we wanted 6 months ago. To live peacefully, raise our children safely, and help our friends when they need us. That's all? That's everything? The Council voted that afternoon. Humanity's status in the Federation changed from protected species to military consultation status. Several species immediately requested human advisors for their defense forces. Others quietly made sure their trade agreements remained friendly. As the session ended, Chancellor Velter approached Lee Taeho privately. Delegate, may I ask you? Something personal, of course? Are there many more like the humans on Harmony Station? Lee Taeho thought for a moment, then smiled his gentle, peaceful smile. Chancellor, there are 8 billion humans on Earth alone. Most of them are parents, grandparents, or people who care about children. So yes, there are many more like them. I see. And they would all react the same way if children were threatened. Chancellor, Lee Taeho said softly, you really wouldn't want to find out. As he walked away, Chancellor Velter realized something that chilled him to his bones. And the humans hadn't shown their full strength at Harmony Station. They had shown their restraint, and somehow, that was far more terrifying.